for an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions. Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on global television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment news in lifestyle, music, movies, birthday celebration, and so much more. All on Entertainment Circle on global television. From the hottest red carpet events to exclusive interviews with your favorite stars, we've got you covered. Stay up to date with the latest trends and news from the entertainment world, all in one place. Tune in every Saturday by 1 p.m. with Chong Animal Joseph on global television.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first. Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumaine Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and a repeat every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story. Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharon Ajay as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30
Is the desk on Global Television.
Nigeria.
Where this TV remote, I beg? Okay, I want this monitor to be on, so I'll be.
Come join Anthony.
Is
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Midday Discourse. We sincerely apologize for coming to your television screens at this time of the day, and it would be a strain and be celebrating Nigerians in the diaspora, given the fact that the government back in 2010 has set aside July 25th and 26th yearly to celebrate Nigerians in diaspora, to appreciate them for the amazing work they are doing despite the fact of not being in the country, given the fact that we are operating in a democratic system of government. So on that note, I will be getting deep into the conversation as I introduce my guest to you, who is a civil engineer by profession and also a member board of directors of Ambassador Foundation Canada / Nigeria, and his name is Honorable Bamidele Felix. Honorable sir, thank you so much for joining us on today's program.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So how key is it that this day is being celebrated in Nigeria in diaspora day?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Nigerians. Once again, we are discussing my people, our people, who are actually outside the border of this nation. The importance of these days is to ensure that they are well being recognized, and that their well-being is also of importance to the Nigerian government. And at the same time, to extend a good gesture to them that they are being recognized for the work they are doing back home. Whether seen and unseen, they are doing great and they are doing well. Many of them have hold enviable positions in politics. They've been able to hold enviable position in medical technology, and we recognize all of this. And Nigerian is saying kudos to them for making this nation proud and for the good things they are doing out there. So Nigeria is a country that needs to be celebrated and to celebrate its citizens wherever they find themselves. So that's one of the key impacts of this day, and for reasons to celebrate Nigerians in diaspora.
Okay, looking at this angle, you know, the celebration itself has different segments, and it comes across different angles of from conferences, seminars, you know, cultural performance exhibition, and award ceremonies to recognize the contribution. So how key is it that these angles are being noted? And talking about conference and seminars now, basically workshop, how important is it that, you know, those that are in the country tend to attend to be able to know how to behave, or necessary documents they will need to have before traveling?
Thank you very much. There is one aspect of man that cannot be taken away from him, and that is the aspect of culture. Okay. You know, culture itself is life. So when we try to showcase or part of the program to facilitate culture is a good reminders to those outside the border of the nation that they should not forget their culture. No matter how suitable environment they find themselves, their home-based culture is still their part of existence, and they actually need to keep on reminding, and that will always be a yardstick by which many of them are actually coming back, because there is no way you not miss a culture, there is no way you not miss a people. So when we try to showcase culture as part of the programs for diaspora, is a reminder that wherever they are, remember home. These are the things you must have missed. These are the things that have been part of your life, part of your existence. You grew up with it. So not anything can separate you from it. So it's like sending a message to them that they should remember their country back home.
Yeah, looking at those angles now, you know, a whole lot of persons has traveled, but we need to, of recent, we've seen a recent hike in people, you know, traveling, and then it's basically called the Japa syndrome. But today we'll be focusing on the Nigerian workforce and then challenge and opportunities that this Japa syndrome tends to create, because a whole lot of persons have been traveling from different walks of life in Nigeria. So how key is it that Nigerian government, now what skill or industry do you think the Nigerian government should prioritize in terms of developing it to help, you know, remain competitive globally?
Thank you. Let me start from the angle of Japa syndrome. The syndrome part of it is a medical terminology that has to do with a set of diseases bewildering a group of people or possibly a whole nation. Such as we have COVID-19 in 2019 via 2020. Yes. Now that's a very great syndrome that almost affects every aspect of the world. Now, when we are not talking about the Japa syndrome, we are talking about reasons why many of our youths, especially the engaging youths, are actually leaving their home to a greener pasture. That automatically has high level of effects as touching our growth as a nation, as touching our unity, because we are losing most of our talented people outside the border. But notwithstanding, the point should have been, how do we cope this Japa syndrome of a thing? And I think it lies mostly on the side of the government, because we tend to destroy most important parts of the government that is very closer to the people, that could have assessed all these problem before getting to this level. For instance, if in the democratic settings, if you actually allows the local government to function very well, you see, it is the easiest aspect of government closer to the people that knows them, that understand their problem. Not even the government at the central, not even the state government can actually give out the exact problem. But when we allow these local governments to function, it will help us to reduce the number of this Japa syndrome. Now, if we now come back to the question that what are the things that we need to do in order to keep us afloat of this problem? One, we need to look at technology.
Okay.
Technology is major anywhere in the world. And through technology now we can communicate. We are reaching out to millions of people now, right now. It's as a result of technology.
Yes.
We also need to look at pharmaceutical. We need to look at beverages and food, which is key to human sustainability. We also need to look at finance. We also need to look at economy. All these things, we need to look at communication, software, engineering, cyber security, cyber crime, and all those things. We need to also look at it and develop ourselves in those areas. We also need to do more in entertainment because it's part of what keeps us alive. We also need to engage more in sports activities and a lot of things like that. The Nigerian government should be able to do more, to also invest in those areas so that we can always be relevant with whatever things we are doing globally.
Okay, let's look at another aspect of education, or what role can education and training play in preparing Nigerian workforce for the future? Because if we look at the statistics from the recent years, we've seen a whole lot of medical practitioners that are looking at doctors, nurses, and pharmacists tend to be traveling to most of this developed countries, as they always call them. So what can be done now in those angles now? What can the government or private sectors do to help improve? Because if you're looking at it now, lastly, even in all of these developed countries, we have our doctors who are head surgeons and taking massive roles in those countries. Why can't those be replicated back home?
Thank you. Education is key. And for any developing nation, the government must invest more in education. At this point in time, I think the government should make education more accessible to the youth, especially the impoverished people, to also partake and see reasons they should be educated. If the education is making affordable, we can see that the high level of our development will increase geometrically, and this will actually turn around to be part of what brings us or facilitates development for the nation. Education cannot be limited. Research cannot be limited. But today, we have a lot of graduates that are not productive. Why? Because the encouragement they are getting from the hand of the government is actually not encouraging. People go to school, no employment. So at the end of the day, they just want to pass through the scale, come out, and at the end of the day, they are not being productive. So if there have been more investment, that even if you are coming out of this, there is a place for you to do something. Not necessarily being employed by the government, not necessarily being employed by the private sector. You can do something for yourself. You can think and make something out of your education that will bring development to that country. So the government will see reasons for skill acquisition as part of education, compulsory.
Do you think that should be included into the curriculums from the primary, secondary, and then tertiary institutions?
If I let me put it this way, that presently, university is becoming a scam. The reason why I say it's becoming a scam is because the essence of you going to the university has not been achieved. If skill acquisition is being introduced in primary and secondary school, everybody will discover his own area of potential. At that level, you cannot take a decision whether to go to the university to acquire more knowledge, not even more knowledge, to do more research
on what you already know.
And what you have already gotten to do. Not because they advise you to go to university without any purpose and you want to go there. But there is a level by which you have gotten to. Okay, I've gotten the knowledge in carpentry right from my secondary school. I may decide to go into the wood. Purposely because I want to understand the all aspect of woods I can use in carpentry. That will be the center focus when I'm going to the university. But people are reading books that they don't even know where it's going to be applicable. So they only advise them, go to the university. They go to the university. At the end of the day, they discover that the essence of going to university is to get a job, not for them to be productive. So if we could be proactive enough to actually introduce the skill acquisition from the primary and secondary school, it will help individuals to develop himself, and nobody will likely to be a burden on the Nigerian government.
You're looking at the end time goal now.
The end time goals.
Yes.
So that it will just be about university everything. It's going to be about productive university. Because you already know why I want to do this. You already know why I want to acquire my knowledge. Not because you get the knowledge and you're now looking for a place to practice it or to experiment what I've gotten. No. So it must be goal-oriented. It must be defined from the beginning of that journey.
Yeah. Okay. You know, looking at this angle now, we're going to talk about a bit of into entrepreneurship now. We're looking at our economy currently. Food inflation is at 40%, and economic and the recession, everything, inflation is at 34%. And the entrepreneurs now tend to travel out because they say the taxation is so high, and then as small scale businessmen and women, they feel traveling out to like go set up those businesses has been, you know, more efficient for them. So what can be done now in terms of helping small scale businesses, you know, get to the level of, you know, expanding into major organizations than just, you know, taking the business away from the country and, you know, closing the gap of creating more jobs for the citizens?
Thank you. You see, the government of the day has a lot to do if actually they are serious in developing this nation. No government can rule out the fact that everybody cannot be fully engaged or partner with the government. Let me say 45% of the nation should be entrepreneur. Those ones, there is need for government to make especially fund available for them to access it and make use of it at a very less taxing, especially when you are a Nigerians. That will serve as an encouragement for them to strive, for them to think, for them to do something reasonable that will help us to curb most of the problems we are having as a nation. You know, the problem we have is they are enormous, and only one led to many. Only one of it. And that is unemployment. When people are unemployed, the first thing that comes to their mind is criminal activities. And that led us to insecurity, kidnapping, robbery, banditry, everything that we are facing as a nation. But it now creates an avenue for people to be fully engaged. You see, how will people be thinking about evil in their mind, let alone they want to execute it? Now, at this point, we have three sets of people now. People that are working with the government, private sectors, and people that are working for themselves. Those ones should be considered as major in government policy.
Those working for themselves now.
Working for themselves. Okay. And these are the people that fall into SME and MSME.
Yes.
They should create a kind of policy that will help them to do more. You know, things are so high, and the cost of living is also high, and the source of income is almost zero. But for those that are on that side of the scale, the government should try as much as possible to accommodate them and let them see why they should be part of the system. Because if you set about 45% of the population, you set them free to do something for themselves, then the government will be relieved. The burden will not be so much on the government, and your current expenditure will actually reduced, so that we can now focus more on the capital expenditure that creates more jobs for the rest of the people across the nation.
You know, you earlier made mention of the local government autonomy, and that the local government chairmen and, you know, community rulers are more close to the people, and they know what the people are actually going through. And I know that's one of the reasons why the local government autonomy has been signed into law, and the federal government will be paying straight into the account of the local government. So we are hoping to see very good results yield out of that. So now, how key is it now going to be for all of these local government chairmen to be able to, see to the fact that the actual resources that has been provided for them is actually going to go into what the budget of that actual resource is being provided for?
Thank you very much. Before I go into detail of that, let me say this to us, that's all. How I wish that the federal government, as solely it is, it has no other priority, but it has priority over others. Even at the same time, the state's executive governors also has the executive power to operate on their own. The local government should be given the same autonomy. They shouldn't be putting under the state government before they cooperate. We should amend our constitution. Let's go to the National Assembly and enact a law that gave them that backing to operate on their own. Because that is the only government that is much more closer to the people. And if that government is able to operate on their own, you see, all this inflation of the thing we are talking about, this security we are talking about, we could have curbed it from the minimum before we even know that things of such is even existing. So destroying the hearts of local government means you are destroying the nation. It means you don't want the people to survive. Because no matter what you are going through as a citizen, the next government you can approach is your local government. But if you get to any state, get to any local government, the chairman are not even in the office because they have nothing to do. They don't have fund to operate. So why do we call that an arms of government in a democratic settings? It shouldn't be. So the federal government should work more to ensure that the autonomy they are talking about is actually effective, and that they should put them out of the state government. They should give them that backing from the federal. Let the allocation come straight from the federal to the account. Let the elected executive chairman operate without the influence of the state government. That is only when we could also say we have a government at the local or grassroots level. By doing so, it will also help the federal government to also let him know that there is an impact of government across border.
Let's look at this angle. Like we rightly mentioned, losing most of our good hands. So how can we cope, this Jagba syndrome into helping and making all of our youth, which are obviously the leaders of tomorrow, stay back and then work and get the economy rolling?
Thank you. One of the reasons is the ones we just mentioned. The other thing I would have loved to say is, let there be a viable database for Nigerians. You see, the government should know the number of employed citizens
and graduates.
We must know the number of employed citizens. We must have a database for the youth that are just coming out. We must have a database for the illiterate people that are in an rural area. Then we must have a database for the Hellites as well, the literates. This will help us to channel our resources to this goes to this and that goes to that. If you don't have an accurate database, it will always become more complicated, especially to govern this nation. Let's look at palliative, for instance. The government to the federal government, they thought they have been able to do something to ease the burden of the inflation on the masses. But to we that are very close to the masses, they are not getting anything. Simply because we don't have a database. And as long as we don't have a database, it will always be difficult for government to reach the people at the grassroots. So once we have a database, then there will be need. There will be more opportunity for people below. And when you also look at the youth empowerment, it's also very key. Let government focus on how to arrest these youths. Let there be sensitization at the grassroots. Let our parliaments come back home, gather people, talk to them in such a way that they know that they are also part of the system. Let them come and visit them. bring the dividend of democracy, of that government, the policy, whatever you have been able to do and achieve, come and speak it to the people.
Do you think lots of youths are traveling, having this Jackpot syndrome because they are not being involved in decision making currently in the country?
Exactly. There is no hope for them. And number one reasons of every man is to survive. So they are only going out for surviving means, not minding the problem they are going to face. And if they can't survive at home, definitely they will think of surviving outside the border of the nation. So the government should come straight to also do something in that regard. That is might not really be their wish to move out of the country, but the government at home is not paying attention to them. It's only people that has a gully heart that has the mind to travel. Those that believe they can make it and make it anyhow, and those are the people we find at the level of insecurity, kidnapping, because they also want to survive. Might not necessarily be the act they want to engage and do, but something prompts them to do something. And not everybody will believe. The Yoruba will say, anything don't pa, so once you are hungry, you can think of anything. So the government should come down to that level and see the best way we can engage these youths. Then give them a message of hope, not only hope, give them something to do as well, so that will keep them alive pending the time that they will find a choice, either in business or to be employed, or to also make themselves to be engaged. Then that will also help us as a nation to grow and to develop.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for your input. But let me just ask you a very quick question before we run out of the studios, because we're actually about to draw the curtain and we're running out of time. There's a planned protest coming up on the 1st to the 2nd, to the 10th of August 2024. So how key is it for the government to step in? Because looking at the recent reports now, the president had a meeting with the state governors and then also had meetings with rural leaders. Now, how key is it going to be now for this protest now not to happen?
Thank you. This is a twofold. Let me speak first on the side of the government. That I knew there are lots of negotiation going on. They are also making efforts to ensure that this does not come to be. And at the same time, the nation is at a critical point that everybody should rally around, believe in ourselves, and we need to put in some level of endurance, because for Rome to develop, Romans stood by Rome. And for Britons to develop, their people stood by them. This is also a moment of challenge for Nigerians, that we need to stand by the government, believing in their policy, to believe in their leadership, that at this critical point, the scientists will say whatever goes up will always come down. So it will continue to be like this. A moment is coming that this thing will drop and everybody will laugh last. But if you think on the side of the masses that we can do it by force, I can assure you that we won't get it right. It will only lead us astray. And I want to implore Nigerians that we should come down to the level of the government. This thing is not created in one day. And it's not going to be taken away in one day. It's a process. And actually we are going through the same process. And the process is to ease our burden, our problem, and to find a way to move forward as a nation. So I want to call on everybody that we should look in another direction. We should find a way to engage the government in dialogue, discussion, what are the plans, what are the policy, how do we use this. And that's what I said, our parliaments should also go back home. Go and sensitize the people that the government is making efforts, that they are not being forgotten. And these are the things that they are trying to put in place, so that when they see them talking to their people, the people will believe them more. But most of these people are far away. They don't even engage their people. After the election, they just move away. That will not solve the problem. Let everybody rally around at this point in time. Let's see the best way we can make things happen for ourselves. Let's believe in our government. Let's believe in ourselves as a Nigerian. Wherever we find ourselves, we are always productive. We want to be at the top, and we can make things happen. And I believe that will still work for us at the moment. Let's believe in the leadership of our royal fathers, who are also crying to Nigerians that they should reconsider, especially on the protest. Like I as a person, Not because I'm not feeling the pressure, but I believe that without this pressure, there couldn't be any succumb.
Yeah.
So let's see the best way we can think to ourselves, reason alongside with our neighbor, and if everybody can impact, even without talking to others, let's do it willingly.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reward for everything. I know the inflation is high. Everybody is part of the system, but we can still enjoy a little bit more. And at the end of the day, all of us will still laugh last.
All of us will still laugh last. Yes, he says. Thank you so much, Honorable Bamidele Felix, for joining us on Midday Discourse today. And on that note, we'll be drawing the curtain for today's edition of the program. My name is Samuel Odi. Have a fabulous weekend ahead. I'll see you again on Monday. Do have a good day. Good afternoon.